Hi everyone, and happy Easter. This is Helen, following up on the first podcast released last week, where I interviewed Hilde Viroux from HCL Technologies on the MDR changes to come. And we promised, following the podcast, to follow up on specific questions that we received at the Qmed Podcast email. And today is a follow-up on that promise. So actually recording today from the summer house on the western part of Denmark. The weather is beautiful, has been it the whole day. So really a nice place to do this first session. So I want to jump right into it and try to answer some of the questions that I received. So the first question that we got and that Hilde and I picked is that regarding these new reports that we are going to provide to make sure that our product is safe and perform. So here's the question. So, dear Hilde and Helene, thanks for the excellent detailed walkthrough of the MDR changes to come. Excellent tools, thank you. And thank you for the question. Can you maybe explain some more in detail what is the overall difference of the summary of safety and clinical performance, the SSCP report, and the periodic safety update report, the PSUR, that are coming? Yes, let me try and summarize that. The SSCP focus basically on safety and performance. It's a report that you need to sum up before that the product is actually put on the market. The PSUR is a follow-up report on the safety of the product on the market. So it's after CE marking. It needs to be updated then either annually or biannually depending on the risk classification. So going a little more in detail with the SSCP report, that is again based on the risk classification. So the Class 3 and implantable devices, there the manufacturer needs to write up this SSCP report. It shall be written clearly and in a language that can be understood by the users and the patients, and is going to be uploaded after the review by the notified body in the Qmed database. So that's an important change to come. If we look at what it should contain, because we actually don't know it yet, the Commission have not yet published the draft of this report. It's of course the details about the manufacturer, about the product, intended purpose, indications and contraindications, description of variants and also of the product, the different accessories that are included in the package, standards, a summary of the clinical evaluation report and also of the post-market clinical follow-up plan. And if this is a report that's being updated on an ongoing, or it will be a report that is updated on an ongoing basis, this will also contain this safety data from the PSUR. So it will also most likely contain some suggested profile and trainings for users, and also state the residual risk, undesirable effects, warning and precautions. So this is a new report actually before CE marking. And again, the template has not yet been released from the Commission. If we look at the PSUR report, this is an ongoing safety report that is going to be released on a regular basis for high-risk class products, so 3, 2B and 2A, and implants. It will most likely contain a conclusion from the risk-benefit analysis and also key findings for your post-market clinical follow-up plan, sum up of your sales, your actual sales, and what population is actually using your product, and also the practical uses of the frequency of your device. Again, there is no template available, so 2 very important reports that are coming out with these new changes to the MDR. So jumping to the next question. Dear Hilde and Helene, regarding the risk management of the general safety and product performance number 3 of the MDR Annex 1. It seems that they are aligned with the ISO 14971 from 2012 standard. And since the standard is not yet harmonized with the MDR, if we can point out any differences from the MDR versus the standard or confirm that there is none. So basically the answer is quite short. The Commission have not yet or they are in negotiation, the Commission with the standard organization, the CEN, and they are currently updating the annex to the standard ISO 14971 about risk assessment. And until that annex is available, each manufacturer will have to make their own assessment. So that was pretty quick, but thank you very much for the question. Next one. What clinical requirement will the EU MDR overall add on top of the ISO 14155? So the key changes are actually that the new MDR requires that for the equivalence concept kind of it disappears. More or less for all class 3 devices and implantable devices, clinical investigations will be required, except if you can claim equivalence to own products or that you have a contract in place with another company that produces equivalent products and have direct access to the technical file, and that this access is ongoing, something that's out in time also. It's also clinical investigations might not be relevant either for legacy devices, and also there are some exemptions in the MDR for devices which are up-classified where a clinical investigation will not be required moving forward. That is one of the key major changes, is this major requirement for clinical data, real-life clinical data on a lot of the products moving forward. Then another of the very large changes to come is that the Qmed database needs to have all the clinical investigations registered which are done. And this whole setup of the Qmed database, we are waiting for knowing more about the details. We have it in US with the ClinicalTrials.gov, where we are all registered in the clinical investigations today. But moving forward, the Qmed database will be the European counterpart there. And then the last one is this expert panel, which will be established by the Commission, and that they will evaluate for high-risk class products and implantable devices. They will review and assess the clinical evaluations and investigations set up for these high-risk class products. So 3 key changes that the MDR adds on top of the general requirements for conducting clinical investigations. I would say when I review the MDR, the basic changes of running a clinical trial are more or less the same moving forward. But the requirements for the need for initiating a clinical investigation has increased. So let's see, one more question for today, and maybe we can, I promise to stay within 10 minutes, and I'm getting a little short of time, I can see. It says here, dear Hilde and Helene, in Article 10/9, the manufacturer is required to have a QMS covering product realization. Could you elaborate what it means for Class 1 device manufacturers, for example? What is the level of requirement for design and development? Well, pretty shortly, as long as you fulfill the ISO 13485, then you meet the requirements concerning a QMS regarding product realization. So that was a quick answer. So let's take the last one. So we take 5 questions today. In case investigator-initiated study is conducted to provide clinical data, what level of QMS is expected to describe the process at the medical device manufacturer? So also brief answer here to the question that the MDR defines very clearly, like we have in the ISO 14155, the role of the sponsor. And the sponsor is responsible for holding adequate QMS according to the regulation. So also for investigator-initiated trial, there needs to be a set or a quality management system while running the clinical studies, which I think is more, I see it more and more out there, and also during inspections, this is checked by the authorities to be in place. So yeah, 5 questions for today. I hope that you found the answers valuable. Remember to feed questions into the Qmed Podcast email. We will answer as many questions as possible during our weekly question and answer section. And then I hope that you will enjoy the next podcast, which are also released today. So again, happy Easter. Enjoy your time off with your family and friends. And then I will see you again next week. Bye bye.